This is Geoff Baker of the Seattle Times coming to you from the Swan and Dolphin Hotel in Orlando, Florida on day 3 of the baseball winter meetings, where today the Seattle Mariners acquired their designated hitter for the 2011 season by signing free agent Jack Cust to a $2.5 million contract. I spoke to Cust earlier today, and he told me he has every expectation of being the full-time designated hitter, facing both right-handed and left-handed pitching. Don't forget, he's a lefty slugger. We don't always see lefty hitters facing left-handed pitching, so it remains to be seen how much Jack Cust is actually going to get to face those kinds of hitters, especially when you consider that Milton Bradley is still in the fold. He's being paid $12 million by the team next season, and we're not sure exactly where he fits with the ball club right now. I spoke to Mariners manager Eric Wedge earlier today when he met with the media at his manager's session. And one of the first questions I asked him was about the designated hitting position and whether he expects that the person that fills that position to be a full-time designated hitter. Here's what he had to say.
I don't think it has to be that way. I don't think it has to be that way. I mean, when you have multiple options as a DH, I think sometimes it can be better for a ball club. But you also want to have some sense of consistency if somebody really takes that role on and runs with it. But in the best case scenario, though, if you can have somebody that can DH maybe a majority of the time, or even half the time, and go out and play the field, or if you have people that maybe can't play on an everyday basis, whether it be for physical reasons or, again, performance reasons, right, left, then you can mix and match that, and then ultimately maybe you can get a few extra games out of some of your guys. We're going to have to make sure that we keep these guys fresh, keep them strong, and so we have to be calculating with our days off.
So you can see what Wedge said right there about the designated hitter spot, in that he doesn't necessarily need a full-time guy in there, but he'd like to have ideally somebody who can do it the majority of the time, and that it would appear that Jack Cust is going to have that job. Later on, we asked him about Milton Bradley and where he fits in this whole equation, and Wedge had some things to say about Milton Bradley. He said he can play any outfield position out there, and he led us to believe that Milton Bradley's going to get time to spell some of these regulars, both in left field and center field, maybe in right field. We don't want to go there just yet because we know Ichiro doesn't take many days off in right field. And he also said Milton Bradley will get some DH time. So it looks like a lot of bouncing around for Milton Bradley if he's still with the team come opening day. Wedge had plenty to say about the ball club, about the young players that he has coming in, and how none of his players have any jobs won just yet. He said he has a lot of expectations of what players are going to have to live up to this year. We heard Jack Zarensic earlier today say that he was very disappointed with a lot of what he saw last year from the ball club, and Eric Wedge today said that he expects a lot from these players if they're going to want to get on the field. Here's what he had to say.
When it comes to Major League Baseball and being in the big leagues, it's they're the best of the best. They're the best players in the world. And competition should be a part of that. If there's not competition involved, it's because you've accomplished so much at that big league level already. All right, that you've anointed yourself, that position. We've only got a couple of people that are in that spot. So, just for the fact that I haven't seen a lot of these guys on a day-to-day basis, and our staff, even all the more. But when it comes to being a big league player, you've got to be able to handle that competition. Whether it be from the teammate next to you, or even more importantly across the way. And you find out a lot about people when it comes to competition, because we're not just looking to get a little bit better. We're looking to ultimately work our ways to be at a championship ball club. And to be a championship ball club, when everything's on the line, all lights and are shining on you, and everybody's watching, you better be able to perform.
And so that was some of the bigger highlights of Eric Wedge's conference with reporters today. Not much else to tell you about down here. The Mariners remain in the hunt for a second baseman. I'm told that's their top priority here, is scouring the hallways here at the hotel to try to find themselves a second baseman. They also remain in talks to try to land a veteran catcher. They've spoken to representatives of both Miguel Olivo and Greg Zahn, but I'm told that there's not going to be anything done on that front during these meetings. They seem to be moving at a slower pace in regards to the catching than they are at some other things, and so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. As far as Jack Cust goes, we're told he could meet with the media as soon as Friday in Seattle, as soon as he gets the physical out of the way. We'll let you know any other news as it happens. Just stay tuned right here on the blog. For now, this is Geoff Baker of the Seattle Times signing off.